And now for our tribute to Mr. Bobby King. A lovely man, Bobby King. I've known him for, what time is it now? He's a wonderful man now. Behind these boyish good looks, when he comes on you'll see him, behind these boyish good looks there lurks a very shrewd brain. A military mind. If I told you that Bobby was in no small way responsible for the success of the D-Day landing, he didn't go. So, ladies and gentlemen, accompanied by our second musical director, Mr. Michael Holmes, a big war man for a wonderful man, Mr. Bobby King.
Longer and warmed them up.
Warmed them up.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
I've been worried, I've been sat down there, I thought, I don't hear any laughs. You could have done a joke or two. Well, what I'm going to do tonight... what I'm going to do... No, don't mock the afflicted, please. I thought, actually, I'm going to do a chat about a little bit about musical, some of the great musical stars of the past that you're too young to remember. I'm not too sure about that one. Guys, and a little bit of this and a bit of that. Not a lot of that. So, I said, well, one or two songs, because one or two of the numbers I do, I've got the music for, you see, and I can't sing, so we're in a bit of a mess, really. What time can I get a bus home? So I'm going to start right at the beginning, because I'm going to take you back to 1930. Are you alright, Florrie? 1930? Am I right? I think I recognise you from somewhere. It wasn't Salford Docks, was it? No, there was a rumour going round. No. Anyway, I'll see you after, and I don't want the prices have gone up and down. But you know what it's like, we won't go into that. So, right back to 1930, it was the first time I ever walked onto a stage, and it was Christmas Day, funnily enough, in a Methodist chapel. Would you believe a Methodist chapel having a concert on a Christmas Day? And I did a Holloway monologue. And I'm going to do it now, whether you like it or not. Because I've locked the doors, you can't get out. I can't do it. I could have scanned on it, I'll be dead in half an hour. Anyway, this is now you're a very great variety performer, I'm sure. Some of you will remember Stanley Holloway. Anyone remember Stanley Holloway?
Yeah.
Have we got any young ones in here?
They're all young.
Oh, yeah?
They're all young.
Oh, I know you, yeah. I've got more. It occurred on the evening before Waterloo, and troops were lined up on parade. And Sergeant Inspector never, you were a terror. One chap I was in the front rank, a lad by the name of Sam Small. And him and the sergeant were both daggers drawn. They thought not of each other at all. A sergeant walked past, he was swinging his arm and knocking his musket clean out of his hand. It fell to the ground with a slam. Sam! Sam! Pick up the musket! The sergeant exclaimed with a roar. Sam said, I knocked it down. Well, then I'll pick it up. Or it stays where it is, on the floor. The sound of my words very soon reached Lieutenant Bird, who said, no, sure. And the sergeant told what occurred. Sam, pick up that musket. Lieutenant exclaimed. Sam said, hey, pick it up. And it stays where it is, at my feet. It caused quite a stir when the captain arrived to find out the cause of the trouble. It was full of excitement and bubble. Sam, pick up that musket, said Captain for strictness renowned. Sam said, he knocked it down, right, and he'll pick it up, and it stays where it's ground. The same thing occurred when the Major and Colonel both tried to get Sam to see sense, but when old Duke of Wellington rode into view, well then the excitement was tense. Up rode the Duke on a lovely white, this is method acting. Where's my horse? He must have slipped from between my legs. And a lovely white horse to find out the cause of the bother. He looks at the musket, and then at old Sam, and he talked to old Sam like a brother. Sam, pick up that musket. The Duke said as quiet as Sam, pick up that musket. Come on, lad, just to please me. All right, Duke, said old Sam. Just for thee I'll oblige, aye, and to show thee I meant no offence. So Sam picked it away, picked it up. Greatly led, said the Duke. Right-o, boys. And that was the very first thing I ever did on stage. Switch. You know, when I first did this, it was a it was lit by gas. And in fact, it was lit by gas till about 1935, actually. And of course, the organ was blown by hand. And everybody had a blower dog. Not a mouth organ. Well, I was volunteered once, I was about 1931, to blow the organ. Now, I can remember now, the organ was sort of up there, you were down there, in a little cupboard. I wouldn't, if I got in, I wouldn't get out. And so, and the organist, now in those days, anybody remembers those days, of course, accents were so much stronger than they are today, of course, because people didn't get around the same, did they, in those days? And one or two people had the wireless. Do you remember the wireless? And I know, of course, accents were stronger than they are today. Hast you done this before, lad? No. Right now, silly. Now then, I'll tell them what they does. Are you listening? Right. Well, just to see that handle here. Well, I knew I'd fallen over it twice. Now, what they does, that goes steady like, that goes up and down, steady. Now, if you had, I won't be able to press keys down on fogger. And if that doesn't go hard enough, I'll get no sound out of it. Are you listening? And don't bugger it up, I'm telling you. All right, yes, all right. Now, I'll tell them all I wanted to start. I'll tap 3 times when we go it. Like that. Now listen, are you listening? Right. Now don't make a mess of it. Now I'll clatter the air oil. So I started off and everything went right. He tapped 3 times with boot. I went through the service very nicely, but being a lad, I got a little bit, a bit excited and started going, oh, I just lost half the calorie. Do it again. That's a Mars bar gone. Anyway, and I got too enthusiastic. And in the middle of, oh God, our help in ages past, everything came to a stop. And the organist spoke to me in some very unmethodized language. According to him, I never had a father. And I was a stupid one at that. So I never got to blow the hole in again. A long time ago. Oh, man, I'm going to slip a joke. I'm going to slip a joke in now. No, there was this bishop. If you notice, the Church of England can take a joke. Well, they have to do with the Archbishop Canterbury. Anyway, no, in all fairness, they can take a joke. I'm sure there have been plenty of plays and shows about Bishop. And he had a curate. He called at this vicarage one morning and knocked on the door. The vicar came to the door. Come in, my lord, come in. And the bishop and the curate walked in, and the usual pleasantries you have when somebody visits. And then the vicar said to the bishop, would you care for a drink, my lord? He said, well, I would rather, yes. And whiskey would be very appreciative. If we had one, I'd be very grateful, he said, every morning. And so he gave him a dollop of whiskey. Ooh. If you want one, you'll have to buy one yourself. And he looked at the curate, he said, would you care for the whiskey as well, my son? Never pass my lips. Good gracious, no! I'd rather have a woman of easy virtue. And the bishop handed his glass back and said, I didn't know we had a choice. Now I'm going to do a song, I think, just for a minute. And it's a little. Now, actually, I've been a fan of the theatre ever since I went to a pantomime. I've been in love with the theatre. Cinema never meant a great deal to me, apart from when I was about 15. You remember that? Well, you're the nearest, you see. I'm picking if you don't want me, I've heard, I'm not bothered. Oh, not you, no. I've never really been mad about pictures. I mean, I've liked some films, but it was a choice between films or theatre. I prefer the theatre. I used to go twice a week, every week. As soon as I was earning a bit of money, I used to go to the theatre. And there was a night I saw many years ago. As a matter of fact, it would be, I think I saw him first about 1938 at the Palace Theatre in Halifax. And I liked it because he sang songs to with the ukulele. Billy Hugh Scott, I don't know whether anybody, I know one or two of the musical society remember Billy Hugh Scott. You remember Billy Hugh? Anybody remember Billy Hugh Scott? Yeah. Oh, three of you. Well, he used to do and he sang songs that they just suited me. And they used to come out in sheet music, if you remember sheet music, Shilling a Time. And I used to buy the music and learn the songs. I never used them because they were copyright. And I did do it when I was in an RAF concert party in Africa during the war, and I risked it then. But I didn't realise that about 50 years later, I'd actually been working with Billy Hugh Scott in music hall and actually introducing him as chair. And this is one of the numbers. I'm going to try Turnstile. Thank you. Now there's a little country place, it's just outside of town, a lovely little spot, you would agree, where all the courting couples go, and when the sun goes down, you'll more than likely find my girl and me. Well, life is made worthwhile. It's just a place to tell a girl a tale. Admitted there are people, and they might overhear. Same as you, so. And when the sun goes down, we all creep back to town. I feel lonely for a while. Now love comes in her eyes, it's a blessing in disguise. We're down by the old turnstile, down by the old stile, where life is made worthwhile. They tell me that it all must be the same. My granddad did his courting in 36. Dastardly my grandma put an end to all his tricks. And when he sees me go, he nods and says, I know, with a smile. And although he's 85, he's still glad to be alive when he's down by the old stile. And that's enough of that. Thank you. I'd just like to talk for a second about just one or two music halls. The stars who actually made the music halls back in the 1800s. Some of you may not have heard of. One or two I'm sure you will. Anybody remember George Robey? Yes. Well, George, you know, the Prime Minister of Meath. Well, George Robey was a very clever man actually. He's not only a great character comedian, he also played Shakespeare. And I think it was Falstaff was considered one of the greatest Falstaffs of his day. Now, I've got a friend of mine here who knows more about music hall than I do. We sat up there, keeping very quiet, and if I say anything wrong, shout and let me know. And mind your own business. And of course, he was very lucky really, because he was born into a middle class family. His father was an engineer to tour the country, started doing tramway systems for various local authorities. And George himself trained to be an engineer, but he got the theatre bug, and he started doing what were known in those days as gentlemen's free and easies, and temperance concerts, all that, earning a couple of bob. And because in those days, he was born in 1868. Because a couple of bob was a couple of bob. Well, it was when I was a kid, I'm sure some of you remember, you could have a night out on a couple of bob, and even less if they paid. And, I used to put knickers on and go to a girl and get in for now. It was all right until they started. We won't go into that. Yes. And of course, there was a management in London that time. Oh, if anybody wanted to have a go, they could come and do a Saturday matinee when the audience were pretty hard going. But they wouldn't get paid, but they chance to appear in front of a proper audience. Not like you lot. And he went on. He didn't do well. He didn't really bring the house down, of course, because there was a hard audience on a Saturday afternoon. It weren't easy. But the management was sufficiently impressed to give him a spot on the evening performance, which were a bit better, went a lot better. And there was an agent in that night who saw him and offered him a 3-year contract to top the bill at music halls around London. Now, most of them, of course, in those days were a little better than pubs, but because any landlord on a decent site would turn it into a music hall. And that's where he went. So he topped the bill from his very first professional engagement, and he topped the bill for the next 64 years. And I don't think that's a bad record, really. I don't know if anybody has ever done that before. From the very first professional engagement, topped the bill on the very last one. And I think that's a pretty good record in 64 years. Now, if anybody remembers him, you only remember him for one song, and it's a love song. Oh, are you ready? I know, are you ready to scream? Are you ready to get excited? Imagine, shut your eyes and imagine that I'm young, handsome, sexy. You have to shut them tight, man. You better turn your way altogether. And it came from the Bing Boys, which ran in London in 1916, and his co-star was an American musical comedy star, Violet Loring, on the old 78s. And I'm sure you'll remember it when I heard it. If you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy, nothing else in the world today, we would go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden, just say for two, with nothing tomorrow. I would say such wonderful things to you. Seeing the gasworks Friday night, there would be such wonderful things. Batter all the pictures, one on the tanner each. If you were the only girl I'm just going to talk about one more. What time do you want the interval?
When you're ready. When you're ready.
When I'm ready. Right.
Tonight.
All right, what do you have? Cups of tea? Is it a beer or what? I don't know. Anyway, we'll just go for a few minutes then. We'll say what? 22? 22? Is anybody talking? There was this fella. He was just turned 60 and he bought a Porsche. A Porsche? And he thought, I'll try it out. And he was going down the motorway, the M1, down the motorway. He got to 80, 100, 120. He got to 100. Shoo, down the motorway. And then he heard the dreaded sound behind him, the police siren. He thought, what am I doing? I'm a fool to myself. And he drew into the hard shoulder, and this police car drove up behind him. The policeman got out, as policemen do, and he trundled over. Well, sir. Now then, do you know, I'm off duty in half an hour. I could do without this. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you can give me an excuse for driving down the motorway at 150 miles an hour, if you can give me an excuse I've never heard before, I'll let you off. And the fella said, funny. My wife ran away with a policeman 20 years ago. And when I heard your siren, I thought, my, bring it back. a few minutes talk about Nellie Wallace. Now I'm sure most of you, well, some of you remember Nellie Wallace. I don't know whether anybody ever saw Nellie Wallace. She wasn't as green, of course, as anybody knew. She was rather scrag. No, she was. She was a bit like Scrag Hen. But she was one of the funniest women I ever saw on the stage. She really was. Brilliantly funny. She used to be known as an eccentricity. It was a sense of eccentricity. That was on her helmet. And I was on Coronation Street a few while ago now. I'm name dropping. I'm talking to Betty, you know Betty, who was, that's right, Betty Driver. I forgot what she was doing. Anyway, Betty Driver, talking to her, and Nellie Wallace's name cropped up, and I was in Variety, touring with Henry Hall. Nellie Wallace was my best friend, and we used to go out together. And so when she went out, she was absolutely dressed to the neck. She had the ermine coats and mink coats and wonderful jewellery. So she really was fabulously wealthy at that particular time. And she was going to retire when she was 70. But unfortunately, apparently her husband ran away and took all the jewels and emptied the bank account. And so she was left, not penniless, but she was not so well off, so she had to carry on working. And she carried on working until she played in a Royal Variety show. Like that. She'd done her act, she got off into the wings, came back, taking a call, back into the wings again, and she collapsed with a stroke, and she never recovered consciousness. She died 3 days later in the hospital. Now, so the last sound she heard on her was a Royal Variety audience applauding her. So what better way for a variety star to go than something like that? Really wonderful. And she didn't really lose any money. She only lost her life because you don't get paid for it. Well, that's one thing, isn't it? I work for people, if I'd just been given a cheque and I was falling down dead, he'd have about the hand before I hit the floor. He said, well, he won't need that anymore. Hang on to it. And everyone is used to sing songs about looking for a man. Anybody looking for a man? Well, you've got one. Well, you do better than it. Have a word with her, the other end, So she used to sing, this is one of the songs. Then again, I must go to bed for the night, I don't know. I'm fed up with these cardboard boxes. And she used to sing songs about looking for a man. And this is what she used to sing with a kind of clipped. She used to clip her words a little bit. And now these are not impressions, I don't do impressions, but it's just a vague idea as to how they used to work. And my mother said, always look under the bed before you blow the candle out. See if there's a always do, and you can take a bet, but it's never been my luck to find a man there yet. I'm just going to do Go Sailing. Anybody remember Go Sailing? I never saw Go Sailing, of course, because I'm not sure, to be honest with you, I'm not sure whether he died in 1925 or he retired in 19... I died in 1948. I'm not gasping for breath there yet. And he used to do character songs, of course, and he did one as a stevedore, that was, you know, carrying humps of meat about. And it's a great big shame. You may have heard it and you may even have seen it. It's been shown sometimes on television, a very cracked version about a whole film of singing this song. And you may recognise it when you hear it, with a bit of luck. I had a pal, the best in all the town. And don't you think he's a goes behind? Since he got married, he had to settle down. He's enough to test the patience of a saint. He's a brewer's dreamer with a leg of one fist, as strong as any bullock or an horse. And since he married him, she treats him like a kid. I wish that I could get him a divorce. It's a great big shame, and if she belongs to me, I just need to know who's who. And nagging over a fella who was 6'3", and her only 4'2". The ain't been married not a month no more, when underneath her from isn't it a pity that the lodge over should bolt of him? Remember that one? Are you glad the interval? Right, thank you. I take out a girl called Jane, and though she's so very plain, it seems to worry her all day. And though her looks not only could be, her technique is all it should be. That's why I always say, oh, what is the good girl if she's much too good to be true? Now where is the bliss chasing after the miss if she won't even kiss when you do? No, this girl of mine is the thickness of sheet. They say the nearer to the bone, the sweeter the meat. Oh, what is the good of a good-looking girl if she won't make love? If she's the kind of a girl whose heart is true, her lips say no, but her eyes say do. This is the kind of a girl with love to burn. She's never tried to burn it, but she's willing to learn. This is the kind of girl who'll stay in love for all eternity. Girls should treat you like a brother, doesn't have to ask her mother. She's the kind of a girl for me. Oh, what is the good of a good-looking girl? She's not too good to be true. Where is the bliss? Chasing after the bliss. She won't even treat her. They say they're never telephone, sweet of the mist. What is the good of a good-looking girl if she won't make love? I'm going to dismiss you now and send you all into the bar where you can purchase drinks at a very reasonable price. £2 a shot. We'll see you in a few moments, I don't know how long. I'll leave it to you, my dear sir.
Thank you.
To tell them what's going on.
We'll do that in
So I'll see
time.
you later.
Yeah.